Young champions, this is Seafood Will, and today I'm going to be just demonstrating for you the rear leg roundhouse kick. What that means is it's a back leg, it's going to be coming around and kicking around through the middle. So I'm going to show you two forms. I'm going to show you first my right leg, and then I'm going to show you my left leg. So let's get started. And that's basically the thing about the roundhouse kick. Now, a few things to note about the roundhouse kick. Number one, you're not just swinging your whole leg up there. It's a great way to kick if you practice it a lot, but that's not the way I want it done. The way I want it done is your knee's gonna kind of bend upwards and then come down the center, like this. Bend the knee up and then turn it. What I don't want to see is this. That's not the kick we're doing, that second one. The first one, which is this one, knee up, and then kick, is the one we're doing. You bring up straight, almost like you do any kick. It comes from what's called a neutral position of kicking. That neutral position is right here where we do our knee ups all the time. That's a great way to do it from. Because then, when someone's coming for you, they don't know what kick you're going to be doing. You could be doing a roundhouse kick, you could be doing a side kick, you could be doing a switch kick, or better yet, just doing a straight old front kick. And this is one of those kicks you can do that from. Knee up, roundhouse kick. So that's one thing to note about it. Another thing to note about it is what my front foot's doing. My front foot has to turn while I'm moving and while I'm kicking at the same time. So, I'm going to show you pretty much how that's done. First step I'm going to do is move my heel. I'm going to turn that outward. Front heel is going to be turning outward, like this. See that? With my toes. And turn outward. Simple move. The second thing I'm going to be doing is turning my toes inward. So I move my heels out and then I turn my toes inward to get the rest of my hip all the way through, all the way around. So that when I'm first facing this way, I'll turn and then I'll end up facing this way. So let me show you how that's done. My heel turns outward. Now as I kick, my toe turns inward. And that turn comes just as you're straightening out your leg for the kick, like this. Now do it on the other side. That's the thing to note about the legs. Now, one last thing to note about the kick is what you're kicking with. Some people, they kick with the toes. They're actually hitting pretty much on the toe part of their shoe or anything else. Now let's say this arm is my leg, you know? What am I going to kick with? Am I going to kick with the heel, the toes of the foot? Am I going to kick with the balls? Am I going to kick with the heels? No, right? What I'm going to kick with is what's called the instep. The instep is basically that part of the ankle which comes right in between. So what I do is I'm going to turn my legs outward like this. As my leg extended, this makes this a harder move. So when it snaps out, everything lands right on there. Now there's not much bone here. There's probably just like a little joint there. But when you land that on the surface, becomes much more comfortable, and it's much more safer than jamming your toes or missing with your heel or something like that. So when you kick, you're going to be kicking with the instep. So when you kick with the instep, you're pointing your toes outward. Let me show you on my leg. Once I get my shoe on. So from here, when that kick comes around, my foot is going to basically flex out so that I can kick with the instep, that ankle part, that bend between the ankle and the foot itself. So that's the thing to note about that. The last thing to note about is your arms. This applies to every kind of kick you do, where you always want to make sure your hands aren't flying around like you're doing some sort of ballet or something like that. So a great way to start practicing is to keep your hands in. If it's hard to keep your hands in, grab your shirt or your uniform. Keep a hold of it the whole time you kick. Don't let your hands go flying around everywhere. Like I see some people, when they start kicking, they'll be like this, and then they'll throw their hands out like that. What that does is it throws you off balance. If you do something correctly, it might counterbalance you. But most people, when they're white belts, don't know that. So for beginners, hold your gi top. Don't let your arms fly around. So, keep everything tight. And when you turn, keep everything still and tight. Turn, kick, and your hands never leave. So that's the thing about the roundhouse kick, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep practicing it.